The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, grade 11 tourism learners. My name is Serena Jordan and I am the educational specialist for tourism. We are just going to give 2 more minutes for everybody to join in and to make sure that all attendees are here and with us. So just hang on, hang tight. We will see you or we will speak to you in 2 minutes time. Okay, grade 11 tourism learners, it seems like everybody is now joined into this webinar session, and which means that we will start this session. So for today, we're going to look at the domestic travel market segment, which deals with the DTGS, which stands for the Domestic Tourism Growth Strategy. Please just note that this session will be a dual session, which means that I will be presenting this webinar in Afrikaans and English. So baie welkom dan ook aan al die graad 11 Afrikaans sprekende toerismeleerders. Ons gaan vandag spesifiek kyk na die binnelandse reismarksegmente en dan hoe dit effek het op die DTGS wat die plaaslike toerisme groei strategie is. Let net asseblief dat hierdie sessie 'n dual session is, wat beteken dat ek dit in Afrikaans en Engels gaan aanbied deur die sessie deur. Goed. So, dan net om myself bekend te stel, just to introduce myself, my name is Serena Jordan and I am the educational specialist for services subject and social sciences, and then more specifically for tourism. Let's just cover a few basic steps. Please make sure that your audio is on and your speaker's volume is turned up. You will be automatically muted when you are joining this session. And then can I please just ask, if you have any questions, please put it for us in the question box. We will revert to it back after the session. In other words, all questions will be dealt with after the webinar session, and we will make sure that you have all your answers. But you will also see that there is a raise your hand icon on the right. Or at the bottom of your screen. During the session, I will just make sure that everybody is still on track. So if I ask you to raise your hand, if you can just press on that button so that I can make sure that everybody is still listening and that you are still on track on where we are. Please, you can download this presentation. There is an Afrikaans and English version in the handout box that you can download for your perusal after this session. Okay, then once again, please put all your questions in the question box for me. Dan net vir die Afrikaanse leerders, asseblief as jy my nie kan hoor nie, maak seker jou audio is aan en jou speakers se volume is hard gedraai sodat jy my mooi kan hoor. Weet net dat jy gemute gaan word wanneer jy die sessie join. En dan kan jy ook vir my asseblief alle vrae wat jy het, enige vrae tydens die sessie, tik dit vir my asseblief in die question box in. Ons sal seker maak dat ons terugkom na jou toe met enige vrae wat jy het, dat ons seker maak dat ons al julle vrae beantwoord. Ons sal dit dan doen na die webinar sessie. Maar dan wil ek julle ook net wys, daar is 'n handjie wat jy kan lig, so deur die sessie deur gaan ek vra dat net om seker te maak dat julle almal daar is en by is en volg met wat ek sê. So as ek jou vra om jou hand te lig, dat jy asseblief net vir my op die handjie sal klik, wat beteken dat ek kan sien dat jy wel nog met ons is en voortgaan. Goed, dan kan julle ook hierdie webinar handouts of PowerPoint kan julle aflaai in die resource of eerder in die handout box. So maak seker dat julle die slides afgelaai het vir die einde van die sessie. En dan weer eens net om julle te herinner om asseblief vir my al julle vrae in die question box te los. Okay, grade 11s, we are just quickly gonna have an overview rather of term 2. So as you can see here, this is just an overview of what is expected for term 2. Last week I have given you some notes on the domestic tourism growth strategy, where you can find this on the guided learning platform. So there is some notes or additional notes that you can have a look at. For today, we're going to look specifically at the 5 domestic travel market segments according to the domestic tourism growth strategy. Then afterwards, you can go through weeks 3 to 10. This is just basically just to tell you what needs to be covered per week for term 2. So vir die Afrikaanse leerders net 'n oorsig vir termyn 2. So laasweek het ons spesifiek gekyk na die plaaslike toerisme groei strategie, die laaste weergawe daarvan. Daar is addisionele notas vir julle gelaai op die guided learning platform wat julle dan kan gaan aflaai as julle daarna weer wil gaan kyk. Dan vir vandag vir se webinar sessie gaan ons spesifiek kyk na die 5 plaaslike reismarksegmente volgens die plaaslike toerisme groei strategie en dan gaan ons dit bietjie in diepte bespreek. Dan na die webinar sessie kan julle self op julle eie tyd hier deurgaan vir week 3 tot 10 wat julle dan per week moet doen vir kwartaal 2 dan. Goed. So let's start. Okay, so as I already said, we're going to look at the 5 domestic travel market segments according to the domestic tourism growth strategy. So if you find this abbreviation in any test or examination, that is what the abbreviation stands for, the domestic tourism growth strategy. Of dan in Afrikaans sal dit dan die PTGS wees, wat dan die plaaslike toerisme groei strategie is. En dan gaan ons na die 5 verskillende markte kyk. Goed. So first of all, why is it important to understand what we are dealing with in the tourism industry? So we need to understand our tourists, we need to understand what they prefer, we need to understand how they are categorized. So in doing this, we have, they have divided these tourists or profiles for us in certain segments so that we can understand our market better. Okay, so first of all, what is a segment? A segment is where we take the market and we divide it into smaller portions. And then people form part of a segment have the same preference. So they have divided tourists into specific segments or smaller portions, and this helps us to identify what the type of tourist is that we are working with. What is their specific needs? Why do they need specific things? Or why would they rather go for specific attractions, or why would they go to specific accommodations? So this is to help us to understand our tourism market better. Okay, so our segment profile, each segment has similar characteristics, and this is usually divided into the following segments. So they can be divided according to their age, according to their gender, according to their income, according to their geographical region, their occupation, or even their lifestyle. Okay, goed, so net vir die Afrikaanse leerders ook, dis vir ons baie belangrik om ons toerisme mark in te deel, want ons moet weet hoe om vir hierdie spesifieke toeriste te cater. So ons moet weet wat moet ons doen, met watse tipe inligting moet ons na hulle toe kom, wat kan ons aan hulle bemark, waarin sal hulle eerder belangstel, en dit is hoekom daar dan sekere segmente, die toeriste mark dan in sekere segmente verdeel is. So as ons eers kyk na wat is 'n segment, dit is wanneer ons die groter toerisme mark vat en ons deel dit in kleiner porsies op en ons groepeer hulle volgens sekere karaktereienskappe of sekere dinge wat ons kan weet hoe om hulle dan in 'n sekere mark of profiel te sit, sodat ons weet as toerisme-industrie of selfs as 'n reisagent, hoe om sekere dinge aan sekere mense of sekere groeperinge te bemark. Hierdie verdeling word dan of is dan bepalend aan die ouderdom van ons toeriste, die geslag, die inkomste wat hulle verdien, hulle geografiese ligging waar hulle geleë is, die beroep wat hulle beklee en dan ook die leefstyl wat hulle dan met ander woorde lewe. Goed. At this stage, can I just quickly ask you to just raise your hands if everybody is understanding what I'm saying and if you are with me and know where we are. Okay. Thank you. I see hands are being raised. Okay, great. Then we will carry on. Thank you, everybody. Okay, but first of all, before we go or get into the 5 groups that they are divided into, the domestic tourism growth strategy is first divided into 3 broader segment areas that we're going to have a look at. Okay, so the 3 broader areas is the established segment, the emerging segment, and then the untapped segment. Okay, so vir Afrikaanse leerders, dis met ander woorde die gevestigde segment, dan die opkomende segment en dan die onontginde segment, waar hulle dit in 3 breër areas eers verdeel het, voordat hulle na die 5 spesifieke areas gekyk het. Goed. So the first segment that we're going to look at is the established segment, of dan met ander woorde die gevestigde segment. If we are talking about domestic, in other words, we are looking at our South African tourist profile at this stage. Okay, so when we look at the established segment, it is our South Africans that travels domestically. These tourists are also your more knowledgeable tourists, and they understand about the tourism products around the country. So they are familiar with South Africa, they know what South Africa can offer, and they are people that travel a lot. Then they can be enticed to spend more, to travel more, and to go to other areas in South Africa because they are familiar with what is happening in and around South Africa. Goed, so die eerste segment waarna ons kyk is dan met ander woorde die gevestigde segment. Dit is dan Suid-Afrikaners wat gewoon daarin is om plaaslik rond te reis. Hulle het dan ook gewoonlik meer kennis oor ons land, hulle verstaan waaroor die toerismeproduk gaan en hulle weet ook waarheen om te gaan as hulle dan reis in ons land. Hulle is dan ook meer geneig om te spandeer, jy kan hulle lok om meer te spandeer, om meer te reis en jy kan hulle dan ook uitlok om na ander areas van ons land toe te gaan. Soos byvoorbeeld nie net die tradisionele Wes-Kaap nie, maar jy kan hulle lok dan ook om sê maar byvoorbeeld na die Oos-Kaap toe te gaan of selfs nie Noord-Kaap wat dan bietjie minder voete kry in ons land. The second segment that we're going to look at is the emerging segment. Of dan ons opkomende segment. So if we look at the emerging segment, it is South Africans who have traveled before, so they are used to traveling, but they have less knowledge, or they are not very knowledgeable about all the offerings that the tourism industry can offer. So you or these tourists can then be educated more, and you can give them advice about where to go to or where to travel to. So they can be convinced to travel more for, especially for holiday purposes. And a culture of holiday needs to be developed by them because they are not very familiar with all the tourism products that is on offer. So met ander woorde, as ons kyk na ons opkomende segment, dit is Suid-Afrikaners wat alreeds wel gereis het, maar dalk nie so baie soos met ons gevestigde segment nie. So hulle het kennis, maar nie genoeg kennis om weet van al die produkte wat daar in die toerismemark is nie. Maar hulle kan ooreed word om bietjie meer te reis, veral vir vakansieredes. Dit is dan ook mense wat dan gewoonlik in jou werkende mark is, wat dan ook meer graag wil reis vir vakansieredes. En daar moet so bietjie net nog 'n kultuur van vakansie by hulle dan nou geskep word. Then the last broad segment that we're going to look at is the untapped segment of the onontginde segment. So the untapped segment is usually your low-income travelers. They generally travel for purposes other than holiday, so it might be for work that they have to go or any other reason. A holiday may seem out of reach, and this can also be various reasons why this is out of reach for them. It might be that they can't travel, that they don't have the necessary transport, or it can be a monetary reason or any other reason why they haven't traveled a lot in the past. And it's usually it's a lower priority for them to travel because they have other specific needs in terms of to get money for their families or whatever the reason might be. Goed, so die laaste segment waarna ons dan kyk is die onontginde segment. Dit is gewoonlik jou laer inkomste reisigers. Hulle reis gewoonlik nie noodwendig vir 'n vakansie nie, maar eerder om byvoorbeeld vir werk te reis. Met ander woorde, hulle kan byvoorbeeld van KwaZulu-Natal af eerder reis na Gauteng toe om vir werkredes. 'n Vakansie is gewoonlik uit hulle bereik uit, want dit beteken dat hulle dalk nie vervoer het om te reis nie, of hulle kan dalk nie geld hê om te reis nie, so wat ook al die rede mag wees, wat beteken dat hulle nie kan reis nie. En dit is dan ook vir hulle, dit is nie bo aan hulle lys van dinge om te doen nie, so hulle het gewoonlik eerder ander dinge wat voorkeur kry as om te reis, sê maar vir vakansieredes. Good. So as you can see, it's not homogeneous, there's different values, but these segments helps us to get an in-depth knowledge about our different consumers in the tourism market. It helps us to categorize these tourists with similar characteristics, and it helps us or the tourism industry to target them more easily. It doesn't help, for instance, to offer maybe your untapped segment something extravagant like going to Disneyland or whatever the case might be. For your untapped segment, you can probably more entice them something in their own region or in their own province. So ons moet mooi kyk vir wie ons wat aanbied, sodat ons die regte target market, die regte teikenmark bereik met ons verskillende segmente. Goed, so hierdie segmente help ons dan om 'n in-diepte kennis te kry van ons verbruikers en om te weet wat die toerismebedryf of die toeriste althans van ons in die toerismebedryf verwag. Okay, so the first one that we're going to look at in terms of the 5 segment areas of the domestic tourism growth strategy is the spontaneous budget explorers. In Afrikaans word hulle die spontane begroting verkenners genoem. And for each of these segments, we're going to look at what their profile is, what their reasons for travel is, what their preferred type of holiday is, as well as the marketing message that we can convey to each of these areas. Okay, so if we look at the first one, the spontaneous budget explorers, they are usually aged between 18 to 24 from all races, and they usually have an income from about 5,000 Rand. Okay, the reason why they are traveling is to get away from their monetary daily lives. It adds to their life experience. They usually want to discover new people, new places, and new adventures. Their preferred type of holiday is usually a weekend holiday, which is filled with activities. As you can see, they are a little bit younger, so they want to do something exciting, new. It must be really fun-filled activities that they are interested in. The marketing message that we can convey to them is fun in new surroundings. So they want to explore, so we can entice them to go into new surroundings. They want to do it either with existing friends or new friends that they've met along the way. I've given you a picture here. This is just for you to connect the specific area to a specific type of profile tourist. Then you will see here on the left, we will get to this a little bit later. This is the specific tourism products that we can sell to them. So if you can see here, this is usually with regards to city breakaways in terms of something new that's happening in the city, a new restaurant that opens or a new hotel that offers something spectacular, so they would be drawn to this. Or even a cultural experience, something new, something different, new people to see, new places to see, new adventure. Or even the Rugby World Cup. As you all know, the Rugby World Cup was last year in Japan, and it was a great experience for us as South Africans as we won the Rugby World Cup. So that was a great marketing tool for young rugby fans to entice them and to market that to them. Goed, so vir die Afrikaanse leerders, dis met ander woorde jou spontane begrotingverkenners. Hulle is gewoonlik tussen die ouderdomme van 18 en 24 van alle rasse en hulle het gewoonlik 'n inkomste van so R5,000. Hulle wil gewoonlik wegkom van hulle daaglikse lewe, so hulle soek heeltyd iets wat nuut is en nuwe ervarings. Hulle wil nuwe mense ontmoet, nuwe plekke, nuwe avonture ervaar. En hulle hou dan gewoonlik hulle gekose vakansie is dan gewoonlik 'n naweek weg vol met aktiwiteite, soos julle kan sien. Hulle is bietjie jonger. Met ander woorde, hulle soek iets wat nuut en aktief is. En dan doen hulle dit gewoonlik die bemarkingsboodskap wat ons aan hulle kan oordra, is om vir hulle aan hulle iets te bemark wat hulle saam met nuwe vriende kan doen, of saam met hulle vriende wat dan gewoonlik iets opwindends is, soos 'n nuwe restaurant wat oopmaak of 'n nuwe hotel wat oopmaak en jy word uitgenooi na hulle lunch toe, of 'n nuwe kulturele ervaring, of dan selfs die Rugby Wêreldbeker soos wat laas jaar gebeur het, waarheen dan baie van die Suid-Afrikaners gelok was, juis omdat ons dan nou in die finaal dan ook gespeel het. Goed. The next segment that we're going to look at is our new Horizon families. Their profile look as follows. They are usually age 35 or older, usually from the Black, Coloured and Indian community, and their income is usually between 5,000 and 10,000 Rand. The reasons why they travel is they want to educate their children, so they want to make them, they want to explore and broaden their perspectives. And it's also usually for them to have quality time with their family. These are usually the people that your hardworking people, and they want to travel to just relax with their families. And it's usually, as you can see, a reward for hard work. So what are they, or how can we entice them to travel? What can we do to make sure that they travel? So their preferred holiday will be something that we can offer a special offer on flights or hotels to encourage them to travel more. So we can entice them to say that there's a family room that you can go to, which is at a reduced price, or flight tickets that you can go to. So for instance, you pay 4 tickets for the price of 2, and then that would be an exciting offer for them, because they want to take the whole family with them. They want to have them have their experience, and they want them to travel more. What will be their marketing message? We can entice them in our marketing to say that you can spend quality time with family, broaden your family horizons, and it brings you a reward for your hard work. So it's very important how we convey our marketing message to this of any of the areas. So our marketing message must be correct so that we can understand, and so that they can be enticed to actually take the offers that the tourism industry give to them. So they will typically, if we go to the specific tourism products, they would like, for instance, a bush breakaway, a coastal breakaway. They can even be enticed to go onto the countryside, and then even they would also be even enticed by some cultural experiences. Vir Afrikaanse leerders, hierdie is dan ons verbreed die horison gesinne. Hulle profiel is dat hulle gewoonlik tussen enige iets van 35 en ouer is. Hulle kom gewoonlik uit ons swart gekleurde en Indiër gesinne uit, en hulle dan ook 'n inkomste van tussen 5 en 10,000 Rand. Die rede hoekom hulle reis is dan gewoonlik om hulle kinders meer op te voed, om hulle horisonne te verbreed, soos wat die titel dan nou ook sê. Hulle wil dan ook kwaliteit tyd saam met hulle gesinne spandeer. Dit is gewoonlik jou gesinne met die ma's en pa's wat hard werk hierdie jaar, en dan wil hulle dan net 'n bietjie familietyd saam met hulle kinders spandeer en saam met hulle geliefdes, en dan is dit dan ook 'n reward, 'n toegewing vir harde werk wat hulle hierdie jaar gedoen het. Hulle verkies dan ook om na spesiale aanbiedings te kyk, soos spesiale vlugte of selfs as die hotelle spesiale aanbiedings aan het, want dit beteken vir byvoorbeeld dat hulle byvoorbeeld sê maar hulle is 'n huisgesin van 4 mense en jy kan byvoorbeeld 2 kaartjies kry vir die prys van 1. Met ander woorde, dit help hulle dan ook om dit deel te vorm van hierdie spesiale aanbiedinge. En dan hoe ons vakansies of hoe ons toerisme produkte dan aan hulle kan bemark, is om hulle te sê dat hierdie produk kan vir jou tyd saam met jou familie spandeer. Jy kan jou familie se horisonne verbreek deur hulle na nuwe areas te vat of nuwe plekke of nuwe attraksies, selfs nuwe akkommodasie om hulle gewoond te maak aan nuwe tegnologieë. En dan om dan dit vir hulle op die hart te druk dat hierdie dan nou 'n beloning is vir harde werk hierdie jaar. So dit kan enige iets wees soos 'n bosvakansie of 'n vakansie by die see of selfs 'n vakansie in die in die platteland waar dit stil en rustig is, of ons kan hulle selfs vermaak met dalk 'n kulturele ervaring omdat hulle dan nou juis hulle kinders wil blootstel aan nuwe ervarings. Okay, before we go to the third area, can I just quickly see a raise of hands? Is everybody still with me? You understand what I'm saying? You are clear on what we are discussing today. Okay, excellent. I see a few hands over there. Okay, so if we carry on with the third area that we're going to have a look at, this is the high life enthusiasts. So how would their profile look like? Okay, they are usually aged 35 and older. They can be from the Black, Coloured and Indian community, and they can have an income of 10,000 Rand or more. The reasons why they travel is to boost their social status. They usually like the finer things in life. They want to really explore the finer things and in a different setting. They usually prefer a weekend holiday filled also with activities. And then how can we market this to them, or how can we sell our tourism product to them? So we can say to them, it's a domestic travel, so it doesn't mean that they have to go far. It can be quick and easy, and they can enjoy it, and they can really experience a world-class experience. So you can entice them to go or take your tourism product if you sell it to them in saying that it is something new or something world-class that they can experience. So they would also be enticed by something like a 5-star hotel to see if a restaurant opens up, even a bush experience where you really have a 5-star lodge that you can sell to them. It's telling them that it's really top of the class, top of the range, 5-star lodge that they can experience. You can also experience. They can also experience something like a cultural experience that they can live with or they can experience. So die derde segment waarna ons kyk is dan gaan vir die luukse lewe geesdriftiges. So hulle wil regtig die luuksheid van die lewe ervaar. Ons kan hulle profiel is gewoonlik, hulle is ook 35 jaar of ouer en kom ook gewoonlik dan uit jou swart gekleurde of Indiër gesinne uit of profiel uit, en dan verdien hulle ook gewoonlik 10,000 Rand en meer. So hulle reis om hulle sosiale status te verbeter. So hierdie groep mense wil regtig soos wat die groep se naam dan nou ook is, hulle wil regtig die luuksheid van die lewe ervaar. So hulle verkies gewoonlik 'n naweek vakansies wat dan ook gevul is met aktiwiteite waarin hulle kan deelneem, wat dan regtig hulle status kan verhoog. So hulle sal daarvan hou om byvoorbeeld na 'n 5-ster hotel toe te gaan wat geopen het en om te gaan kyk wat daar aangaan, of 'n 5-ster restaurant om een van die beste chefs te ontmoet, of jy kan hulle lok as ons kyk hierso na die bos wegbreke om hulle regtig aan hulle te bemark 'n 5-ster hotel of 'n lodge op 'n plaas of op 'n plek ergens in die bosveld wat dan regtig vir hulle hierdie luuksheid en die luuksheid van die lewe dan kan bring of bied. Wêreld experience, wêreldervaring wat hulle dan nou beleef. Goed, dan die vierde segment waarna ons gaan kyk is the fourth segment that we're going to look at is our seasoned leisure seekers. In Afrikaans is dit die ervare ontspanningssoekers. So if we look at their profile, they are usually aged between 25 and 45. They are usually white and an income of 5,000 Rand or more. The reasons why these type of travelers travel is they travel is a way of life for them. So they really want to travel because that is just how they live or they live their life. They usually grew up going on holidays and understand what the travel experience means to them, and they prefer to make memories over commodities. What type of holiday they would prefer is usually an escape or a relax, or they would just want to spend quality time with their loved ones. So how do we market our tourism product to this or these type of tourists? South Africa has really have many places that we can escape to. I think South Africa is one of the countries that can offer the most to tourists in terms of being outside and experiencing the finer things in life, because we have lots of coastal breakaways, we have lots of bush breakaways, a lot of Americans or any other tourists from overseas like to come and visit us, especially for the big five that we can offer. We like to travel to the Kruger National Park, and we really see a lot of international travelers over there because of these things that we can that they can experience. So it's really just a time to relax and spend quality time with our loved ones. Goed, so vir Afrikaanse leerders, dit is dan ons ervare ontspanningssoekers. Hulle word dan gewoonlik, hulle profiel is dan dat hulle gewoonlik tussen die ouderdomme van 25 en 45 is. Bid en dan hulle inkomste is gewoonlik R5,000 en meer. Hulle hou daarvan, want dit is hoe hulle lewe lei. Hulle hou daarvan om te reis en om elke dag, dit is hoe hulle leef om te reis. En hulle dan ook gewoonlik groot geword met vakansies en hulle verstaan wat hierdie ervarings vir hulle kan bied. En hulle hou dan ook daarvan om vir hulle self dan memories te skep, jy weet, dinge waarna hulle kan terugdink, foto's wat hulle waarna hulle weer kan kyk of aandenkings wat hulle gekoop het met hulle reise. Goed, hulle hou dan ook daarvan om te reis, om net bietjie te ontsnap van die daaglikse lewe en dan om goeie kwaliteit tyd saam met hulle geliefdes te spandeer. So hoe bemark ons nou ons toeristeproduk aan hierdie spesifieke toeriste? So Suid-Afrika het regtig baie plekke waarheen ons toeriste kan gaan en wat ons kan bemark. So ons moet dit aan hulle bemark as dat jy dit regtig gaan ontspan en dat jy regtig tyd kan spandeer aan jouself om 'n boek te lees wat jy lanklaas gelees het of dan net om tyd saam met jou geliefdes te spandeer. Ons kyk gewoonlik dan ook weer eens na jou boswegbreuke, jou seewegbreuke of selfs dan net op die platteland tyd te gaan spandeer saam met jou geliefdes. Okay, then the last segment that we're going to have a look at is our well-to-do Mazansi families, so ons welgestande Mazansi families. They are profiled that they are aged between 25 and 45, from the Black community, have an income of 10,000 Rand and more. The reasons why they travel is they want to escape the city and spend time with family and friends. They want to do it in new and different locations. And they also want to expose their children to new and alternative ways of life and activities. So what type of holidays do they prefer? We can also entice them with special offers, with flights and hotels, especially because they want to expose their children to new and exciting things in life. So how do we market, or what is our marketing message? We can tell them that this is really a breakaway with your family, and it will help you to take off the daily pressures of life, and you can just go and relax and just spend good quality time with friends and family. So a typical marketing product will be, once again, your bush breakaways, cultural activities that they can enjoy, coastal breakaways, any of those products that we can offer in the tourism, from our tourism products. So hierdie is dan met ander woorde ons welgestande Mzansi families. Hoe hulle profiel sal lyk is, hulle is gewoonlik tussen die ouderdomme van 25 en 45 van die swart gemeenskap. Hulle verdien gewoonlik R10,000 of meer en hulle reis dan gewoonlik om net 'n bietjie te ontsnap van die stad en om tyd saam met familie en vriende te spandeer. Hulle hou ook daarvan om na nuwe en verskillende plekke toe te gaan. Hulle wil ook hulle kinders en hulle gesinne dan ook blootstel aan nuwe ervarings. So dis is hoekom julle ook sal sien dat ek het hierso ook die kulturele ervarings hierso wat hulle kan aan deelneem. Ons kan dan ook aan hulle spesiale aanbiedinge bied, soos om vlugkaartjies goedkoper te maak of weer eens 2 vir die prys van 1. As ons kyk na akkommodasie, kan ons ook vir hulle weer sê, weet julle kan 'n familiekamer bespreek en dis dan teen 'n goedkoper tarief as julle vir die familiekamers gaan. Ons bemarkingsboodskap wat dan aan hulle moet oorgedra word is om regtig ons produk so te bemark dat hulle voel dat as hulle na hierdie plek toe gaan, na hierdie akkommodasie of na hierdie attraksie toe gaan, dat hulle net regtig kan gaan ontspan en wegkom van die daaglikse druk wat hulle ervaar in hulle lewens en dat dit regtig vir hulle kwaliteit familietyd sal wees. So weer eens, dis baie belangrik om te weet hoe die profiel van elkeen van hierdie segmente lyk, sodat ons weet wat se tipe produk eerstens om hulle te bemark en wat die boodskap moet wees wat ons dan aan hulle oordra. So it's very important to understand these 5 segments, because if we understand what their profiles are and what they're interested in and why they want to travel, then we know how to convey our marketing message to them, and it helps us to understand what tourism product they will be interested in. Okay. So if I just quickly want to show you, you will see the pictures that I've showed you with all of the segments. That is just basically to match our segment to a specific tourism product. Okay, so every time that you see these masks, it's usually a city breakaway that we talk about. Where there's this elephant, we usually refer to our bush retreats or our bush products, a lodge or the Kruger National Park or any of those. If you see these coastal picture, it's our coastal breakaways. Event wonders can be anything that can attract a tourist. It can be something like the Warapi World Cup or anything major happening either in our country or internationally. Then we also have our mountain escapes, we have our cultural discoveries, and then also our countryside meanders. Goed, so hierdie is net om vir julle te wys dat elke marksegment aan 'n sekere toeriste produk gekoppel aan kan word. So met ander woorde, oral waar julle hierdie maskertjies sien, is dan gewoonlik weet ons stad wegbreuke wat hulle doen, of dan kan ons 'n boswegbreek aan hulle bemark, of dan jou see wegbreuke, of dan enige as julle hierdie prentjie sien van die rugby wêreldbeker, dit stel enige ander groot gebeurtenis ook voor waartoe ons mense dan kan lok. Hierdie prentjie dui dan ons berg wegbreuke aan. Hierdie prentjie dui die kulturele dis weet aktiwiteite wat hulle kan doen, of dan selfs dan in die platteland waar hulle sekere wegbreuke kan hê. Good. So the last thing that I just quickly want to discuss with you is how now to apply this theory that we've covered today, and how to apply this to a specific scenario in a test or examination. So typical questions that you can expect is something in the line of give the full name of the abbreviation DTGS, which then stands for the Domestic Tourism Growth Strategy. So they might ask you to give the full name of this abbreviation. Then they can also give you certain activities or attractions, and they can ask you to link it to either one of the 5 segments as we have done today. So they can, for example, give you a bungee jump, a picture of a person that's bungee jumping, and they can ask you, okay, tell us which segment this will which of the 5 segments will you think this tourist product will be linked to? Then we can say, okay, we say it's our spontaneous budget explorers, because they want to do something exciting and they want to do activity that they can enjoy in. Okay. Then they can also ask you something to say, discuss the success of the segmentation by referring to domestic travel in South Africa. So if we look at the 5 segments that we have discussed today, they can ask you to elaborate on that, to tell them, why do you think it is so successful to divide these into the 5 segments? Then you can say something like, now we know what our tourists wants, we know what their wants and needs are, we know exactly what and how to market our tourism products to them, and if we market the correct tourism product to them, it will mean that they will travel more. So go and see what are all the advantages, or why is the segmentation so successful for our domestic tourism in South Africa. Then they can also ask you to name and discuss the 5 domestic market segments according to the DTGS. So this is the 5 segments that we have discussed today. So they can ask you to name all 5 of them and give a brief description of each of them. So you must go and study and understand how these segments are divided. Then what they can also do is they can give you a given scenario, so they can give you now the description of the specific segment, and then they can ask you to identify and describe or match then one of the 5 segments to the specific scenario that they have given you. So they can ask you either way around. So net gou vinnig vir die Afrikaanse leerders, 'n tipiese vraag wat jy in 'n toets of 'n eksamen kan verwag is om byvoorbeeld die volle naam te gee van die afkorting. In die Afrikaanse geval sal dit dan wees die DTGS. Met ander woorde, dan gaan jy uitskryf, dit is die plaaslike toerisme groei strategie. Dit is waarvoor die afkorting staan. Dan kan hulle ook byvoorbeeld vir julle prentjies gee van aktiwiteite of attraksies, en dan kan hulle vir julle sê, okay, pas nou hierdie aktiwiteit of attraksie by een van die 5 segmente. Soos byvoorbeeld, hulle kan vir julle 'n prentjie gee van 'n persoon wat bungee jump, dan kan hulle vir julle sê, goed, hier is 'n toerisme produk om te gaan bungee jump. Watse segment dink julle sal gaan of sal hou van hierdie tipe aktiwiteit? Dan kan jy antwoord om te sê, dit sal jou spontane begroter vir kenners wees, want hulle hou daarvan om nuwe en lekker van aktiwiteite te doen. Goed, dan kan hulle ook van julle vra om te bespreek, om te sê, hoekom dink julle is dit so suksesvol om hierdie 5 segmente te hê? Watse voordeel hou dit dan vir die plaaslike toerisme van Suid-Afrika in? Dan kan julle sê, omdat ons byvoorbeeld hierdie dan nou in 5 segmente gedeel het, weet ons presies wat ons in watter segment kan bemark, sodat ons met ander woorde reis nog steeds kan bevorder. As ons die regte produk aan die regte mark gee, beteken dit dat hulle dan daarvan sal hou en dat hulle dan geïnteresseerd sal wees om van daai toerisme produk gebruik te maak. Met ander woorde, jy sal dan verseker dat jou toeriste nog steeds reis ongeag van die mark waarna hulle val, as mits jou toerisme of jou bemarkingsstrategie en jou bemarkingsboodskap reg oorgedra word. Goed, dan kan hulle ook vir jou vra om hierdie 5 segmente te noem en te bespreek. As deel van jou plaaslike toerisme groei strategie. So hulle kan letterlik vir jou vra om dan die 5 neer te skryf wat elkeen is, en dan ook om 'n kort beskrywing van elkeen te gee. Dan laastens kan hulle ook vir jou 'n scenario gee, so hulle kan hom omswaai om vir jou te sê, hulle gee nou vir jou die beskrywing en jy moet dan identifiseer van watter segment hulle praat, en dan kan hulle jou vra om net so 'n bietjie meer uit te brei op hierdie segment. Okay, so grade 11 tourism learners, I hope that you enjoyed this session, and I hope that you have learned something and that you can take something with you when you have to study this specific topic. So please, I want to ask you or remember you once again to download the handouts and to post all or any questions that you might have in the question box, so that we can revert back to you at the end of the webinar session. So net vir die Afrikaanse leerders ook baie dankie dat julle ingeskakel het vandag en ek hoop regtig dat dit vir julle van waarde sal wees. So ek vra net weer eens, maak seker dat julle die handouts afgelaai het en dat julle al julle vragies vir my in die vraagboks gesit het, sodat ons terug kan kom na julle toe met enige vrae. Onthou asseblief om ook ons Impact Toerisme and Tourism Facebook page te join. We share a lot of relevant tourism information on there, so please join our Facebook page, which is the Impact Toerisme and Tourism Facebook page. Please remember to download your study notes. Your study notes will also tell you what to study per week, per term. Yeah, so please, we want to see that you also take part in our Facebook pages as well, and please post relevant information that you have on our Facebook pages. So if you're not registered with Impact, you can contact us at info@impact.co.za. So as jy nie by Impact geregistreer is nie, kan julle asseblief ons 'n boodskap hier net stuur na info@impact.co.za. En ons hoop om julle weer te sien by die volgende webinar sessies. Please study hard, keep safe, and please look after yourself in this time. So asseblief leer nog steeds hard, wees veilig en maak seker dat julle veilig bly. So thank you for joining me today. We are looking forward to see you in 2 weeks' time for the next tourism session. So sterkte en baie dankie dat julle vandag ingeskakel het. Ons sien julle dan weer oor 2 weke vir die volgende toerisme webinar.